Hey, love. Welcome to No Matcha, No Mama, the podcast where we pour a little matcha and a whole lot of truth. Each week, I sit down with someone I admire, founders, healers, creatives, and friends, and we sip a matcha I've made just for them based on what they love. I like to do everything with intention, from the ingredients in your cup to the conversations that we have. And the show is more than just about talking. It's about exploring how we can truly thrive through all the mess and magic of being human. Here we start with matcha because how we start matters. So today I am joined by Danielle Silver. You're the founder of Sophie's Organics, and it's a mom-led baby company, and you're kind of redefining how pouches are made, shelf-stable pouches are made. And I'm so honored to have you here because you've done a deep dive in the baby food industry, and it's something that I think more people should know about. So welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I recently got onto like this whole matcha kick.
Amazing.
So when you were like, do you want to come on and we have matcha? I was like, please.
Sure.
Let's go.
Well, that's a mint matcha, so I hope you enjoy it.
I would love to try some.
Please do.
Okay.
It's for you.
Oh my God, it's actually really good.
It's very subtle.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's Pique matcha with Pique spearmint like packet, and then coconut cashew milk and some collagen.
Oh, it's really fancy.
I mean,
I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start with a little bit of like, obviously like matcha is my ritual in the morning, and I wanted to know like if there's a ritual that you have that you start your day with.
Yeah. For me, it's really just kind of like a grounding practice, like whether that's going outside with Sophie on like a little walk, like pushing her in the stroller, or like me just like having 10, 20 minutes to myself, like just really like a walk is really how I like just like to start my day, just kind of get like the energy going and just getting my like self feeling like, okay, I got a handle on the day. So that's like what I do in the morning for my ritual.
Beautiful. And anything you do like by yourself? Like without the baby?
Not right now. Not in the phase of life that I'm in. There's always like Sophie's somehow like always in it, which is, I think, in some ways very subtle and sweet because I'm seeing how like this phase is slowly on its like way out. Like, you know, she's about to be in school like full time, and I think I'm going to miss this chapter. But at the same time, like really harnessing into this like work-life balance of being a mom and like a first-time entrepreneur and, you know, a wife is just, it's kind of wild.
Yeah.
And like trying to really like get it all together within a day is sometimes feels really impossible. But the one thing that I do know for myself is like, I do have like my breathing practice and like the walking, and like that's really what I can do. And then like one thing in front of me as I go throughout the day.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's important to just do whatever you can and just make sure you're making time for yourself. So.
Yeah. Love that.
So I want to jump in about Sophie's Organics. But where, like, I also want to hear about your backstory. So, like, where did you come from? Was there a personal or healing moment that shifted how you thought about nourishment for yourself and your family?
Yeah. So I want to say maybe around like the age of 10 is really where I noticed myself kind of like cooking and helping my mom with like making dinners for our family. My mom worked a really like big pressure, high stress job. My dad you know, also was like out in the field. He was in construction. So I would be the one who's like, mom's like, hey, can you like warm up this for your brother? And before you know it, like I was kind of cooking food. And I remember this like profound moment where my dad and I were like looking at like just like fruits and vegetables in our like bowl in our kitchen. And because he's like really into like spirituality. And he said to me that like, when the energy of a fruit or a vegetable is leaving, it starts to kind of go brown and goes old. And I never really thought of food as like a spiritual thing.
Yeah.
Right. So like a perfect example is like a banana. So like when it starts to go brown and like turns black, like that energy of that food is no longer suitable for ourselves, right? For like doesn't give us that nourishment that it was supposed to. So the fruit bowl moment for me was really where I kind of had this epiphany about food, energy, and like how your body assimilates food. And that was like at a really early age. And then as I got older, had to figure out what I was going to do with my life, right? Like that college like moment life. And I decided like I really wanted to maybe open up like a wellness center, something for healing. I didn't know if it was with kids or with adults, but I knew that I wanted to do something that really aligned to helping people understand their bodies and food. And then I essentially got my nutrition degree and started offering nutrition counseling for adults primarily, and teaching them yoga at the same time. So like that was like my bread and butter. And then I had Soph, and then it was kind of this light bulb moment happened with really understanding like, why do all these pouches in the grocery store kind of have almost this like off taste to me? Like something about them just didn't feel right or sit right with me. And it wasn't like, not like this is like bad or anything. I just, something about it just never really felt right about me giving those to Sophie. And then had this like epiphany moment of like, okay, I kind of need something for her that was convenient, that I could run around town with, that was shelf stable, but that didn't give me this like
Weird taste.
And that's kind of where like everything kind of started.
So when you first became a mom, what opened your eyes to what was actually in baby food? Like how it was being processed, and not just about pouches, but like specifically baby food, because you were looking for like convenience too. So was there anything about like baby food in general that you found out about?
Yeah. I think for me, I noticed there was a lot of concentrate based products. So it'd be like organic apple concentrate, organic strawberry concentrate, and like with nutrition understanding and like understanding of how foods are made, like that's essentially a powdered version of the original form of that food, right?
So you're not getting any nutrients from it.
You're really not getting any nutrients.
It's just the flavor.
And then, and then there's also like the natural flavors that are added into like not only kids food, but like adult food.
Yeah,
and
it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. And natural flavors are essentially correlated to like an MSG.
Yeah.
So that was also kind of like, don't want to go down that rabbit hole with her. Like, why would I be giving her MSG, natural flavors, and concentrate-based foods? And I had really like this, again, like I have like epiphany moment of like, well, then why, if I'm having this problem, like aren't other parents like also kind of having this problem?
Potentially, but also I feel like some parents aren't. Like I feel like there is a large group of parents that are like looking and care, but there are also a large percentage of the population in the States that like aren't paying attention, don't know enough about it. And that's also worrisome, right? Because they're feeding their kids these products that don't have good ingredients that are far worse than just like the concentrate. You know, the juice from concentrate, right? Yes. So it's just,
there's that educational piece that's missing. And I think part of the journey of, you know, growing Sophie's Organics is really getting the mom, the dad, like the real consumer at the end of the day, to understand the difference between what we're doing at Sophie's versus like what the other products are on the shelf.
Yeah. And so that inspired the start of Sophie's Organics, or was there like another moment that like catapulted it forward?
Yeah.
Because it seems like you have a lot of epiphanies.
So that really, the understanding of, okay, like this doesn't feel right. Me just being like, well, right now I don't have to go back to work just yet. Like I had another like 6 months of leave. I was like, I'll just keep making Sophie's food. And then my husband like looked at me and goes, we have a bunch of like chase whatever points. And he's like, you looked really like you're just wiped out. Like, I think we need a vacation as a family. And I was like, all right, let's go. So it was our first time. And we take Sophie, and before I get on the plane, like a couple days before, my mom calls me and she goes, what are you going to do for food? And I said, well, I'm going to breastfeed her. And she goes, Danny, like Sophie's 6.5 months now. Like she's going to want food on the plane. Like it's an 8-hour flight. And I'm like, well, I'll just figure it out. My mom's like, no, we're going to like Sprouts and we're going to go figure out this puree thing with you. And I was like, all right, you're right. Let's just go figure it out. I was just going to bring like mashed up like, you know, banana. I don't know what I was thinking. I go with her and we go and we literally go through all the shelf staple options because I wasn't comfortable with taking a refrigerated pouch with me because I knew it was perishable and it only had so much of a timestamp available. And I knew our journey was going to be at least 8 hours on that plane between, driving and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So my mom and I, we like literally bought like one of every single flavor within the category set. So we probably spent $300 on pouches because I didn't know which one Sophie would like. So my mom, Sophie, and I, we go to lunch. I go buy these pouches. Like I literally have this vision of it. My mom and I are just like eating like whatever our lunch. And I'm trying to give Sophie these pouches. And like either one of them is like coming out and it's like watery and like gumpy and like smells kind of off. The other one is like just like squirting. I was like, this is just like this. Something about this just doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel like real food.
Some of these brands are like supposedly like good quality brands. Mm-hmm. Or so you would think, right? So it's kind of appalling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because anyways, I'll let you continue.
So I'm like, Mom, she won't eat this. And my mom's like, well, let's try it ourselves. And so like my mom and I are literally, and Sophie, like we're all trying these pouches and we're like, what is going on here? Like, why don't these taste good? And then one of like the lady that was like helping us at our table, she comes by and she's like, are you guys trying pouches? And we're like, yeah. She's like, oh, I have a 2-year-old at home and like my 2-year-old won't take these pouches either. And I go, well, that's wild to me because they're selling so many of them. Like, are parents even trying what they're giving their kids?
No.
And now that I'm doing demos, I'm realizing a lot of parents are like, oh yeah, my kid doesn't really eat them and I just throw them away, but I buy them because it's like a mental thing. Like I have some options, So between that moment and then, of course, that experience really was kind of profound to me. And I go, Mom, I think I just have to cave in and buy the refrigerated pouch. I'm going to bring it on ice. I'm going to freeze some. I'm going to figure this out. Mm-hmm. I get on the plane. I open up our bag and I realized I had a note that was on the back of like our door. And it said, grab Sophie's pouches from the fridge.
And you didn't do it?
It was 5 a.m. Sophie was crying. My husband's like, we're getting late, Danielle. We got to get on. Like, we got to get in the car. And I grabbed the note. I put the note in the bag. And I just forgot the pouches. So
a mom moment.
Yeah,
at 5 a.m. I get it. I've been there before.
Mom moment. I looked at my husband and I said, I feel like a horrible mom. I don't have anything for her. And so I get up and I like kind of hand Sophie over to my husband and I say, I'll be right back. And I go and I talk to the flight stewardess and I'm like, I think I probably have 10 minutes, if not less, to run around LAX and look for something for my baby. And she said, put an alarm on your phone a minute before this store closes because you will not get back on the plane and your husband and daughter will be off on their way to the vacation without you. And I said, okay. So like the track, high school track comes like right back into my body and I like sprint through LAX.
Oh my goodness.
And all I could find was like an unripened banana, like a green banana, like for I think like Starbucks or something like that. And I grab it and I get back on the plane and I said, I found a banana. And my husband's like, how is she going to eat that? And of course it was like all over us, all over the plane, all over, my hair. Thank God I was still breastfeeding her and we survived that. But that was really like another kind of like something has to change here. Like this cannot be only
like
like
another option.
Yeah. And that's really where the birth story of Sophie's Organic started.
So it sounds like from the get-go, you were like, it was going to be a pouch. It wasn't going to be anything else.
It was going to be a pouch because pouches for me, especially right now in the phase of life that I'm at, they just work.
I know.
It's kind of like, I don't know what else to say. Like the spoon, the box, like that whole concept was an option for us. I just didn't think that parents, like, look, one kid is one kid, 2 kids is 5 kids, 3 kids is 10 kids, right? Like that saying. And I think at this place, like the average consumer, the mom who does use the pouches generally has more than one kid. And I don't think that mom has the bandwidth to be feeding her kid from a little box while they're on the go, while their other kid is, jumping up and down off the chairs. Like, it's just, you got to get the pouch, get the other kid maintained, like kind of go about the day, change the diaper, do what you have to do. And I think the pouches just felt like the right fit for me.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you made them.
Thank you.
It's very exciting to have something
Yeah. I brought one for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So this is like truly like the hero product for us. It's really a recipe that I essentially made for myself every morning. And
what's in it?
So it's organic blueberries, bananas, organic barley grass juice powder, which is really healing for our bodies. It's full of antioxidant health. It works just like on really deep nourishment for your body. So this is our pouch that Soph and I just adored and like would eat as our morning rituals.
Cute.
Yeah, there you go. I'd love for you to try it. Let me know what you think. But yeah, that's really where it all started, was with that recipe.
Love it. And how many SKUs do you have? You have 3?
We have 3 now. Yeah. Yeah.
And what are the core values or standard guides every decision you make with Sophie's Organics?
Yeah. Well, first, it really comes down to how is like the farming practice, like how is the food actually being made, right? And like, what is the environment like? What are their steps to becoming like cleaner, better for the environment, better for the world in general? I think part of the greater ethos of the world, it's like farming is really important. Like I think there was a study that showed that we only have like 30 crop rotations left before like we can no longer sustain crops within our earth the way it has been growing. So that's why.
Yeah, because of the soil.
Yeah, the soil has really just been kind of run down.
Depleted.
Yeah, it doesn't have the nutrients that we need. So one of our key initiatives is like working with farmers that do, withhold certain practices, not only just being organic, but also like regenerative and getting steps closer towards those practices. So that's one thing that we look for. Of course, the heavy metal testing. So we ask for the farmers to give us their soil tests first before we even agree to like plant anything for like the crop rotation for the following year. So that's one step. And then once the product is fully grown, we ask for a sample of that. And then again, when it gets to us, we ensure that it meets the requirements. And then we do a final testing, like a microbial testing once the product is completed, just to make sure that like there was no pathogen, something that happened to the product. And then we are in partnership with Clean Label Purity Award. So all of our products are Clean Label Purity awarded, which was really important to me as a consumer and as a mom. That was something that I really looked for when I was shopping the shelves. And so I told my husband, I was like, we got to get this. And he's like, but it's so much money. And I'm like, it's important to the moms, you know? So.
Well, you're a mom, so you would know.
I would know.
So can you walk us through how your pouches are made from the process itself to what you wanted to do differently from the start and how that compares to the way that most shelf-stable pouches are processed and preserved?
Yeah. So with Sophie's, we have the most unique processing method within the shelf-stable category within America. So that being said, our pouches, we heat our purees for 10 to 20 seconds. We cool them down so that they're room temperature. And then we obviously like temperature test and then we fill them in. That is really innovative in this space, right? Where traditional pouches that live on the shelf are heated to 300 degrees. So they'll heat the purees up to 300 degrees and then they put them into plastic immediately and then they hold it for sometimes 10, 20, if it's like a meat puree, sometimes 15 minutes at a time.
They'll keep heating it up.
Yeah. It's like, it basically sits in this like canister. And then once it hits a certain heat requirement, because it's essentially killing off the bacteria within the pouch, but then it's also killing the bacteria off within the actual purees, right? And then they'll put it in like an ice bath. Then that goes through a like fanning system. So like there's fans that just kind of like blow off the water and then they get dried off and they put them in a box and they end up on your shelf. So that's the other option that we're not. Like that's the retort process. That's also like a hot fill process, I believe, is kind of done in that same capacity. So with Sophie's, like we would never get behind that.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
And so are most of I'm guessing like all of the shelf stable pouches out there use retort processing.
From what I understand, yes, because I pretty much contacted every single co-manufacturer for pouches in America. And that was really the only option that was given to me, was like, you got to do this. You got to have 1 million in volume. And I was like, like, thank you so much. But how am I supposed to get like 1 million pouches made? Like, I'm just starting. And then B, like, this doesn't feel right to me as a mom. Like, I would, like, the perfect example is like if I invited you over to have like chicken soup or something, and like I served it to you in a Ziploc bag, you would probably be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, am I supposed to leave
This is
now?
gross.
Like,
are you giving this to me to go?
yeah.
I don't want this. I don't like plastic. So
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. Like, my husband, when we were first like dating, he would say to me like, why do you get so like annoyed if I put hot food in like my Ziploc containers, you know, like those plastic containers?
because you're heating the plastic up into your food. It's disgusting. Like, look, I'm guilty of it sometimes when we order takeout and the food comes hot. So like, I'm not perfect in any regard, but like I try to use glass containers. So if what I'm transferring from the stove or the oven goes into glass and not straight plastic, and while the lids are plastic, like, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
So can you talk about a little bit, like, can you talk about your favorite refrigerated pouches? Which ones do you like?
Yeah. So with Sophie, the one that I was supposed to bring on our flight with us was a Once Upon a Farm pouch.
I love those.
I think that they're doing the best job out there for what they're offering the consumer.
What about Little Spoon?
Little Spoon, I never got behind just because I just ordering like like at the time, like I had like the mommy brain and I was like, this is just overwhelming to me. And like, I just wasn't ready to like subscribe to like a bunch of things and have to remember to unsubscribe if she didn't like it. And it just like the whole thing was giving me like anxiety at the time.
Would actually, it's funny because I subscribed to Once Upon a Farm. I'm switching to Little Spoon just to give my kid like a difference of flavors.
Yeah.
Dina, my son, he literally has like 1 or 2 pouches a day. He would have many more if he could, but obviously that gets really expensive.
Yeah.
So I'm switching to Little Spoon to see if he likes any of those mixtures. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think the baby food, toddler food, children's food industry, there's plenty of options and not one size fits all, right? Like consumer and product, whatever. But for Sophie's, the vision was really fixing the shelf stable category. You know, like it wasn't my mission to make everyone in the baby space like, oh, freak out that Sophie's Organics is here. It was more so like, oh, we kind of are inspired by what Danielle is doing at Sophie's Organics. And like, how do we help like kind of scale this thing with her, you know?
Are you planning on getting into other baby foods or are you just going to focus on pouches?
Right now, I'd like to kind of evolve our shelf stable category, right? Like to more SKUs so that like when you are shopping the shelf space and you're like, oh, well, my baby's allergic to bananas, doesn't really like squash, but I know they love strawberries. Like I want to make sure we have that strawberry pouch for you and your little one. And I do have so many ideas of like how to like make things taste better, A, be healthier, C, without the natural flavors and the this and the that. And, you know, really mindful of not putting corn into like a lot of the food options for little ones. Like that's a huge GMO risk. Like
causes inflammation. It's hard to digest. Yeah.
Like a lot of products I notice have corn flour and like that's
everywhere.
It's just not how I would want to feed Sophie. And like, of course, if there's a day where like, she's like, Mom, I want corn on the cob, like that's a different story because that's like out of her choice. But right now, like being the sole provider of making those decisions, like I definitely want to not have corn in things.
I want to backtrack a little bit. Yeah. How does the heat and the pressure and the added preservatives like affect the like nutrient quality?
Yeah. So when you are, so kind of like that, going back to that like moment of like the bowl story, like, you know, when I was 10 with my dad and like showing me that like, you know, the energy is leaving. A perfect example, of this is like if you overcook, let's just call it broccoli, right? You like steam your broccoli and it goes bright green. And then if you go pick up your phone and you talk to your mom for 5 minutes and you come back and now your broccoli's brown, like you've overheated, you've overcooked. It's like diminished. It no longer has the flavonoids, no longer has like the real nutrient potential that it could have had for your body. So with overheating, overcooking food, you are doing the same thing to these purees, right? Yeah. So across the board, like it doesn't matter if it's a pouch that lives in the fridge, doesn't matter if it's a pouch that lives on the shelf, it doesn't matter if it's a thing that comes in a little box with a spoon. You essentially, all of the companies out there, from what I understand, they're all buying these same purees, pretty much from almost the specific farmers. And everyone, no matter what, has to cook down their ingredients to some degree. Right? Like if a ingredient says, oh, it's broccoli, kale, and apples, like, well, how are you getting the broccoli, kale, and apples to come into a pouch? Like you have to cook it down, right? So understanding that all these purees are essentially cooked down to some degree at the first time.
And then they're overheated.
And now they're getting overheated. And then they're living within a plastic container. Like that to me is like, no, like where is the nutritional value of that? Because I understand that like if I cooked broccoli once and then I go and heat it again for 300 degrees for over 10, 15 minutes, like
you're basically zapping the nutrients out of it.
You're zapping it all out. So that.
So I'm guessing you don't like the microwave.
No.
Yeah, me either.
I think we've never used it.
We don't have one.
Yeah.
My husband refuses and now I literally haven't used one. And I mean, I've used one, but not for myself.
Yeah.
Or my kids.
I think the real, exciting component for me as like a first time founder and like really, like this whole Sophie's Organics was a concept in my mind and I didn't really know if people were going to get behind it. I didn't really know if parents really cared. And I took a risk. I asked my husband to like help me fund this. And I was like, let's just see what happens. We took our savings. We, dived in, we did it. And I said, like, if we can sell out of these 2 pallets that we have to make per requirement from our co-packer, if we sell out, then that's like a sign from God that he wants me to keep going. My husband said,
You
okay.
sold out.
I sold out. And I was just like, oh God, like we're in it now.
You're doing it.
This is happening.
Then you added another flavor.
It's literally what happened. But really like with doing the demos, we're starting to do like farmers markets pretty soon and just like meeting with these moms and the little kids and they're just like, oh my God, this actually tastes like real food.
Because it is.
It's just
you didn't overheat it. Also, you don't want to, why would you heat up? You don't need to like cook down blueberries and bananas.
No.
No. Like that doesn't need to be cooked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those can be consumed. I mean, a lot of veggies can be consumed raw, but like they can be like mashed up and served that way without cooking it. Whereas like obviously you can't do that with like a raw vegetable.
No. Yeah. Yeah. Like a squash, you got to cook it to some degree. So that's what really is like the motivating joy for me. Like even with talking to like buyers for like good, like proficient, like, grocery stores, they're like, wow, this actually really tastes good.
So you're getting all the validation.
I'm just like,
amazing.
Thank God that people see the difference. Because when I was sitting with my mom and Soph like 2 years ago now, like, I was like, how is this real food? Like this doesn't taste real. And like,
well, it's not because all the nutrients are zapped out of it. So how can it possibly taste like the original form? Like when you overcook broccoli, it's going to taste different than when it's raw.
100%. So that's like really what we're doing at Sophie's.
I love it so much. I'm so happy that you're doing this.
I
think it's really, really important what we feed our kids.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too.
So how do you personally balance convenience with preserving the integrity and the nutrients of the ingredients?
So we're not using concentrated based anything, right? Like the only time we have a little bit of lemon juice concentrate, it's just to keep the pH at a balanced level. I think with us, it was really important for me to keep it like as fresh as possible, right? Like as if I made it within my own blender.
Yeah.
How do I do that? And that's what we were able to do, like just because of our processing method.
Love it. Okay, so beyond pouches, Have you, and beyond like just baby food,
Yeah.
like that comes in different containers, have you looked into how other kids' products are made and what stood out to you the most? Like melts and bags of puffs, like anything like that. Like, did you do any research into that?
I have done some research into it. A lot of it is like really hush hush. You have to sign NDAs. You have to like, you know, they don't really want to disclose a lot of things unless you're actually going to sign on with that co-packer so that they can express it to you or tell you how it's really made and like how you can make it yourself. I think for me as a consumer.
Is that alarming that they don't want to share and they aren't transparent about it?
No, I think there's a lot of money on the line. You know, these big names like that make these melts that you see in the grocery store, they're funneling millions of dollars into these co-packers to make their product, and they want to conserve it for them. They want the end user to always come to them.
Got it.
Right? And like if they just start telling people like, oh, I make this product for this person, then who's like the next Sally Johnson that wants to come over can like go and do it themselves too. And I think that's kind of where
Got it.
those companies need to be protected. So I understand that they don't want to share. But the way that I, right now in my mind, how I look at food, and that's kind of the way I've always looked at food, is that like, if God couldn't make it himself, like on the land, then why are we consuming it like that? Because our body doesn't understand that. Mm-hmm. You know, so the moment you're adding in fillers, you're adding in guar gum, you're adding in like different types of weird sugars, that's where, in my opinion, from what I've understood from like a holistic nutrition standpoint, is that's where your body starts to get a little chaotic inside because it doesn't know how to digest it. And so for me personally, like the puffs, I don't really do with Soph. Not that it's a bad thing. It's just that some of the ingredients I don't think are great for her. Mm-hmm. I also am not confident that like I want a snack eating kid all the time. Like I think there's something to be said about having like 3 solid meals a day and then like having like in our case at home, like I'll give her a pouch like in between like snack and like lunchtime, right? Because like she's like, Mom, I really want a pouch right now. Like, okay, here's your pouch. Like, you know, then that works for me. But at least I know confidently it's almost like giving her a smoothie that I would have made at home, but I don't need to take out the blender. Where like the melts and the puffs, that's processed food, like truly processed food.
Yeah.
So, you know, it has to go with what feels right for you and your family.
Yeah, my son ends up, he just wants snacks like all the time.
Something to be said.
All he wants to eat. And I'm like, yeah. How about you eat your dinner?
How old is he right now?
He's 3.5 almost.
Yeah. That's the fun age of like trying to get them to eat. And then Sophie's the same way with me. Like I notice like we'll sit down, we'll have dinner. She'll eat a couple bites and then she's like, I'm all done.
And you're like, no, you're not.
I'm like, you had 2 bites, all done. Let's go dancing, Mommy. And I'm like, okay, well, Mommy's going to eat. Can you sit with me while I eat? Okay. So she'll sit and then I'll like try to feed her again. But it's kind of annoying, you know, at times because you're like, I just made this meal. Like, please sit and eat. And it's like, you got to kind of meet your kid where they are, but you also don't want to like create this like chaos in your home where you're having to feed your kid twice dinner, you know, at like 7, like 30 when they're supposed to be in bed.
Yeah, he wants a snack all the time before bed.
Yeah.
Because he didn't eat his dinner. I was like, you can eat your dinner.
Yeah.
Or I'll like cave in and give him like a cheese stick or something that like I know is
like
gonna at least give him some protein.
Yeah.
We already talked about that. So how does early nutrition shape a child's gut microbiome and immune system?
Yeah, it's a big one. So to me, I remember this like profound documentary. I think I watched it like during the pandemic actually. And it basically showed that like pre and probiotics are essentially within our environment, right? Like a perfect example, like a lot of my mom friends, I remember like there's a group chat and they're like, my kids keep wanting to eat my shoes. And I'm like, yeah, they want to eat everything. Like they want to put everything in their mouth. And the reason is because they're actually getting pre and postbiotics from the environment. Like there's something to be said about like you know, when you do give like a child a vaginal birth, they're like, you know, getting all your microbiome. And so the same thing is within plants. Like plants have prebiotics, right? Plants have certain organisms, not that they're bad, but they have living organisms on them. That's how they're made, right? And so I think really to understand like a whole foods diet in the sense, like, right, like whole real nutrition within at least, I want to say, for me, the first 5 years of life are so important, really so important. They're like fundamental for that child, because past that stage, essentially your child is going to crave what you gave them. You know what I mean? So it's like if I gave Sophie Cheetos every single day when she is 7 and she sees Cheetos, she's probably going to want those again when she's 7. Every 7 years, though, you have the opportunity to change your biology of basically of what you've been eating, which I think is really interesting. So if you really want to like eliminate something from your diet, let's just call it chocolate. If you're like, I can't eat chocolate anymore, it breaks me out, it's not great for my hormones, whatever your story is with chocolate, you have the opportunity after 7 years to really take it out of your life and then no longer crave it, because that's how your biology is constantly changing. And I think that's really interesting about humans, like, you know, and I also think it's interesting to see that like, even women, like they'll be like, oh, I was a vegan. And then after a couple 7 years, I kind of switched over and I became a carnivore. And then that didn't work for me. And I became like, people are always evolving throughout their lives of like what they're eating and how they're eating. And I think that's really interesting. And I think with kids, as their parents, I think it's really important that we try our best to give them those whole foods within every single day of their diet, right? Because then that's really what they're going to want.
Yeah. I agree. I think feeding them, I still give my kids snacks because like,
listen, you have to. Snacks. It's survival. It's survival of the fittest at this point.
Hopefully, I'm actually trying to be a little bit better with the snacking, and like sometimes in the morning he like asks for a snack when he first wakes up, and I was like, why don't you just eat your eggs instead? Just like eat your.
Some of it could be habit. Yeah, some of it can definitely be habit
for sure.
Some of it could be like, you know what? We only have one snack a day now. Like, choose your snack. Not that you want to put like parameters around food so much, but more so just like making it right for you and your family, I think is really important. You know, I think within the kids space, my intention of Sophie's Organics was never to not allow a parent to also provide their kids with like a warm meal, right? Like I don't want people to be like, oh, I'm just going to give them a pouch and then not make them dinner. Like I don't think that that's who we are and what our category is, right? But I think there is some sense of joy of like making your kids food. And Sophie's is really just that product that is there for you. Like when you are finishing up a soccer practice, you know, with your little one and you're like, oh my God, my kid is hungry and it's 45 minutes till I get to home and make them lunch, grab the pouch, like save them from being hangry. Like that's where I think we come in for your day.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure. So just piggybacking on this, what do you wish parents better understood about feeding their babies in these first few years? Like we just talked about the 7-year thing and Whole Foods, but is there anything else that you wish parents knew about?
I think
feeding their kids?
Not being afraid to feed your kid, I think is really important. I think that with feeding, and like a perfect example of this is like I took Sophie to the zoo, I think it was like last week, and we saw this like really cute, like mom, dad, and baby, like kangaroo. And they were all just like eating grass, you know? And I was like showing Sophie, I'm like, that's the baby, that's the mommy. You know, we were looking at the kangaroos together and they were just kind of eating and they were peaceful and they were calm. And I was trying to say, Sophie, like when we eat, we should be calm and peaceful and like try to enjoy what we're eating, right? And she goes, yeah, mommy. And like, I think that's really what food is about, right? It's part nourishment, but it's also about being connected to your child and like bringing this energy of like, this is sacred for us and our family right now. Like this is meal time, or this is fun. Like we're going to go and have a pouch together. Like Sophie and I have pouches together, and like we'll go to the park, and like, you know, it's like you make rituals out of your day. And I think that's really important with feeding, because then it becomes this like almost like the sacred time for you and your family, and you're not afraid of like, oh my God, I have to make dinner again tonight. Like, you know, just allowing it to be this like sacred, peaceful thing for you and your family, I think is really important. And then that translates into like them actually enjoying their food.
Yeah.
So that's what I think personally, like, especially with a first time mom, like I was in those shoes, and like that fear around like, well, can I feed my kid this? I'm like, just start in small amounts, right? And then just slowly build up, and let your intuition guide you with it. I think that's really important.
Yeah, I agree. Intuition is everything when being a mom and parenting and just doing all those things. Because we get so much information from all these different sources about like what parenting method and how to do this and how to do that. And you kind of have to like what feels good for you in that moment
100%.
and follow your gut, because what works for one kid isn't going to work for another one because they're very different.
Yeah. Personalities, like the whole thing.
Everything.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite go-to meals and snacks for Sophie? Obviously, other than the pouch.
Okay. So we are really into just like cut up kiwis and mangoes right now, and some dragon fruit. Yeah. Just trying like different fruits with her has always been fun. We're really into like pesto pasta. Pesto pasta.
Yum.
Trying to think. We make little homemade like chicken nuggets, but like in my version of them, which is kind of fun. She loves those. I don't know. I try to not like overthink it with her, because she's not that she's simple. She's definitely very opinionated. Like we actually at one point had 4 SKU options, and the 4th one was called a harvest bowl, which I still want to bring back. But Sophie was like, no, mama, no, I don't want this one. And
what
I was
was
like,
in it?
It had quinoa, sweet potato, squash, and apple. But the quinoa and the sweet potato, something about it, like trying to find the like lowest heavy metal count, to the sweet potato, it like just didn't taste right to me and weren't to her. And so I had to make that game day decision, like we're going to not produce this one.
Well, you could do like another version of it and like remove maybe the quinoa or the sweet potato.
I think I'm going to remove the sweet potato and maybe like add in some kale or something.
Add in a green veggie.
Yeah. But that's another wild thing. It's like the Wild West out there trying to find a green veggie that's heavy metal approved for like the percentages that we want. It's like really hard to find. And it's really sad. Like to think. It's
really upsetting.
I'm like, this is kind of wild. Like I think honestly, there should be as many requirements for food that adults eat, right? And even elderly people eat, because you're 100%. Seeing like Alzheimer's risks and this and Parkinson's and like that is all stemming from what we're eating.
Yeah. In the non-organic food and the processed, in the ultra processed foods, right? Because there's processed food and then there's ultra processed food. Like there are some snacks that are definitely better than others.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's in your diet. It's in sugar. It's in all these additives. It's very upsetting.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. It's like we are like as a society, we're hyper focused on what we give our kids. But then at like, I want to say that like around the age of 7, 8 is where I notice a lot of consumers kind of like say, I give up with what my kids want to eat. And that's
kind of wild. It should always matter.
For some people, it doesn't.
And it should also matter for you. Like you should be caring about what you're putting in your body too, not just what you put in your kid's body. Because you should want to be around longer for your kids. You want to live a longer life.
I mean, this is one of the things that kind of makes I understand the marketing play behind it. I understand why a lot of, just call it, big companies do this, and they put, a XYZ character on the box of their ingredients or whatever it is. And it's really like a double marketing standard, right? Like they're assuming your kid is with you when you grocery shop. They're going to see, let's just call it Elmo on a product.
And they're
like,
going to want
Mommy,
it.
I want Elmo. But like, really, it's not, you're not buying Elmo. You're not eating Elmo. Like that's not possible. Like you're eating, and like, I feel like that shouldn't be allowed in food. Like I wish there was a way to like one day change that, because I think it's really unfair to parents. They get stuck in this almost like a pigeonhole.
Buy this for my kid because my kid is having a tantrum.
Or in the grocery store, the lady down the aisle is staring at me, wants food, and I'm saying no to her having food. Like that just sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like.
Also, bringing your kid to the grocery store is really hard. I brought Dina yesterday, and he literally just wanted everything off the shelf. I'm like, I'm literally not buying this. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. I would just like put it back. I'm like, no, we're not buying this. Like, I'm sorry.
It's an Olympic sport. It's actually an Olympic sport. You're like, okay, like put this all. I say, Sophie, put it at the bottom of the cart. That's what I do. And then when I get to the register, I say, everything on the bottom of this cart is not coming on with us. And I just like whisper that to the person, like, okay. And they just like
put it off to the side.
I can't fight on every single ingredient that she like picks. And sometimes she does pick like good things. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. But like, it's because it's right at her level.
Right. She's not picking it because she knows. Like, there's no way for her to know that. Unless you've said to her maybe before that you like that product. But she can't read the box or the bag.
Yeah, no. She's like buying like dried shallots. I'm like, okay, thank you, but we do not need this.
I want to ask you a couple questions on being a mom before we wrap into closing reflections. How do you balance what you know from the science to how you feel as a mother?
Yeah. I think I remember reading a lot of articles about this transition of a working mom to having like a lot of mom guilt around having to work and provide for your family, but also raise your child at the same time. And I know that unfortunately was a story that I had to live through with my mom. And that was something that I really wanted to nurture and respect within this relationship with my daughter. And I'm still navigating that. You know, it's really at times really challenging for me. Like I will have a really important call with someone, but like at the same time, I like want to be at her ballet class. And it's like, where am I supposed to be? And is there somewhere in the middle that I can meet it? And so, you know, like with going to therapy and trying to figure that out for myself, it's like, okay, well, maybe I don't, unless I absolutely have to be at a meeting at this time specifically, like I'm going to try everything in my power to not book at least 30 minutes so I can maybe go to her class for 30 minutes and then like sprint into my car and like go to my desk and like meet for that meeting, right? But like it's really about trying to balance that for myself right now. And it's really hard.
It is.
It's the hardest thing.
And I had a conversation with somebody about this specifically. I don't think there's ever really a balance. No. I think we're searching for a balance that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like it's at the end of the day, it's about feeling good about your decisions because you're not ever going to feel like your life is balanced because there's always going to be things that are pulling you in different directions and you're not going to know which path to choose or which option. And you kind of just have to like make the decision that makes you feel
the best
or like find harmony. Like it was harmony for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not balance.
I love that harmony. I mean, yeah, I'm all about like rituals. I probably take that because of my yoga practice. And so the ritual that Sophie and I have at night now is like we have a little dance party, which I think is like,
I love that.
It's fun. We have like our little fairy wands and it's like 10 minutes and she gets to pick whatever song she wants. We have a little playlist and she picks them out. And we'll dance around the house for like 10 minutes. And like she's laughing, I'm laughing. Like we try to like get my husband to dance. He doesn't dance. He's usually doing the dishes. Like, you know, that's kind of been our ritual. But at least I feel like I'm having this playful time with her. And that it has been nourishing me back because it's making me not feel as like sad or guilty about doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But at the same token, like I try taking Sophie with me to like as many things as possible with work, right? Like I think her name is on it. So.
It is Sophie's Organics. It's her company.
It basically is her company and I'm her assistant. So I swear she has sold the product into some stores within LA because she was with me and she was
Absolutely.
pouchy, mommy,
you should
pouchy.
100% bring her to more of those meetings.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, that's what
She's
we've
going to
been
help
doing.
you sell it.
We've been doing that just because honestly, I don't have like the nanny support at that time, or because that meeting was really important. I wanted to go and I like couldn't figure out how to do it with her and not like, not have her with me because we had to go somewhere else after that. So
it's all part of your story though. Like she is part of your story.
Yeah. No,
she is the reason you started it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And, the hope is that like she'll grow up and she'll be like, oh, my mommy started this and with my daddy and, they did
really
it together.
Proud of you.
And, yeah, that's what I'm praying to God. Or she'll be like, Mom, why did you put me all over social media? And I don't want my name on your pouches.
Well, let's hope
Let's pray it's not that one. But
at some point she might say that to you when she's angry, but she probably won't mean it.
Yeah. I'll be like, Sophie, it was kind of your idea. Like you needed these.
Okay, so before we wrap, I wanted to leave you with a couple reflections, and this will be about like you.
Okay, I love that.
If you could go back, what's one thing that you would tell your younger self?
Kind of like hold the faith that it does get better. Just keep going. I think I had a lot of adversity in my life and a lot of hard moments where I like remember just having like a come to Jesus moment where I was like, what is the greater picture here? Like, where are we going with this? Like, this is not the life that I was anticipating to have. And I think I just had to like keep going. And I wish back then I had more grace for myself. And I kind of need to do that now, like, because I still don't know where things are going with the company or like with my life, but like, I'm going for it.
I think it's important to like acknowledge the fact that like being open to what is unfolding and not being like attached to an outcome is really important. Like, not knowing where your life is going to take you can be really scary, but it's also kind of exciting because being more open is like
receiving.
You're going to receive something even greater than you thought was possible.
Yeah.
Because when you focus on something and you want something so badly, you're so attached that you're probably not going to get that.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that wild?
Because the universe might not be time yet, or there might be something better for you, but you're not going to get something better if you're still attached to what that thing is. Mm-hmm. You're holding on to something so tight. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
It's like, put your prayers out there, trust, and then release.
Yeah.
And then like keep going and do the best thing in front of you and just like keep doing it. And I think that's like a pretty like spiritual way to think about things. But like when I was like in high school, whatever, going into college, it was so like to the textbook, like, what is your career? Like, where are you going to school? Like, what were your grades? Like, this is like, it's textbook. Like, and I wasn't a textbook person. I was very much like, had this job, had that job, like did this, went to that school, like got things done, like just like kind of like go-getter mentality. And when things kind of come back, you're like, wait, what did I just do? Like, what is happening here?
No,
so
we're not set up. We don't grow up. I didn't grow up in that way.
Yeah.
Being spiritual or learning anything about this, right?
Yeah.
Like this comes later on in life. So like we can pass this on to our kids that they have a better understanding of like what life has to offer. Yeah. And like what being open.
Yeah. Open to
that
receive,
is.
Open arms, open heart.
There's like this path of like school. Get a degree. Start working. But like, what about if their path is supposed to be something different?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like holding space for that.
Yeah.
Because not everyone is the same. Just like everyone's not the same on their eating or feeding journey, So
yeah.
It's all correlated.
Mm-hmm. It is. And then looking ahead, is there something you're doing now that you hope your future self thanks you for?
Yeah. I think I'm doing a lot more of like heart opening work for myself. Like, like being a lot just kinder to myself when like things don't necessarily go your way like at the first time. Mm-hmm. And like, I think I'm pretty optimistic that like I'll thank myself for being kind to myself during this time because I do know a lot of friends who are founders that are really hard on themselves. Like, oh, I didn't, hit this Y over Y number this year. My CAC is at this and my investor doesn't want me to like, it can get pretty Wild West out there in that sense, but like holding space for like things are going to unfold as they do. And I just have to like be patient with it. And I think that's going to be my greatest gift because I'm harnessing more into that energy and that element.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think just holding the faith.
That's really amazing because being kind to yourself and self-talk.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Is
your best
so
friend.
important. Like if you are saying negative things to yourself and just thinking negative about yourself, like you're going to attract the negative things or the outcomes that you don't want.
Yeah.
But the more positive you are about yourself and the more just like kind you are to yourself, like that affects the trajectory of what's going to happen in your life.
Yeah. 100%. And I think
what you put out there is what you receive back.
1,000,000%. That's exactly what it is. And I think that we need to be teaching our kids that, you know?
Yes.
And doing it ourselves all the time.
Yes.
It's a practice. It's really a practice because it is really easy to be hard on yourself, you know?
And we all fall into that trap, right? Like I'm sure there are days where you're very hard on yourself and we're our own worst critics about everything, right? Like I don't really like to watch myself. I don't. So it's like, because I'm my own worst critic, right?
Yeah.
And so, but I have to like move through that and get more comfortable with it and be like, you know what? I did a good job.
Yeah. And own it.
And own that, right? Instead of being like, oh, I could have done this differently or, oh, I could have done that differently or, oh, I don't like the way that this came out, right? Like that's all negative talk.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like retraining that monkey in your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be more positive about everything. And then, but our kids will also see that we're doing that. And hopefully eventually they'll like start to reflect that back.
Yeah.
Because they mimic everything that we do. It's not just
wild?
like telling them to do something, right?
Yeah. It's literally.
You have to watch yourself.
Yeah. Like, and that's, I think the wild part about starting this like journey of founding a company at the same time, raising a kid at the same time, like showing up for yourself. It's like, which hat do you wear at what time? But like, it's actually like all correlated, you know, it's like how you show up for one thing is you show up for everything else. And but knowing that like, it's not, you don't need to fake it. It's like who you are and how you show up through all those things is just in your energy. It's who you are as a person. So it works.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to end with a little prayer, and it's kind of similar to what I've already said, but it's may we carry what we need, release what we don't, and stay open to the magic that is still unfolding. Thank you for sipping your matcha and sharing your heart with me today.
Thank you. I love that. It's a beautiful prayer.
Thank you.
Aw, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to No Matcha, No Mama. If you loved the episode, share with a friend, leave a review, or come say hi on Instagram. My handle is @Dina. If you would love to connect with my beautiful guest, Danielle Silver, you can find Sophie's Organics at Sophie's Organics on Instagram. And remember, thriving takes intention. See you next time.